Ahead of their private shakedown in Barcelona this week, McLaren Racing revealed the first renders of its 2026 contender, the MCL40. It was the collection of radical design choices, from a unique drooped nose to a complete suspension overhaul, that signals a bold new direction. Chief designer Rob Marshall claims that every last nut and bolt has been redesigned, a statement of intent from the reigning champions. After securing both the Constructors' Championship before Singapore and the Drivers' title in Abu Dhabi, McLaren enters 2026 with a target on their back. We need to break down what McLaren has done and why, in the face of F1's biggest reset in a generation, it could change everything. For a team like McLaren, which secured both the Drivers' and Constructors' Championships in 2025, the MCL40 represents a monumental challenge. Their hard-won dominance has been wiped clean by the 2026 regulations, a technical revolution so vast it resets the entire competitive order. This ambitious design is their big bet on defending those titles. But the central question is this: is the MCL40 a genuine masterpiece, an engineering statement that will allow them to build a dynasty, or is it a high-stakes gamble, a design so aggressive that it risks sacrificing consistency in the hunt for ultimate performance? To answer that, we have to look closely at the engineering choices they've made, starting with the heart of the car, the all-new power unit. The 2026 regulations have fundamentally rewritten the concept of a Formula One engine. The complex and costly motor generator unit heat, or MGUH, has been completely removed. For years, the MGUH has been the unsung hero of F1 power, recovering energy from the turbocharger's rotation to both charge the battery and eliminate turbo lag. Its removal simplifies the engine, but creates a new strategic headache for engineers. Without it, the power unit is now a simpler, but arguably more challenging, hybrid system. The core of the power remains the 1.6-litre V6 internal combustion engine, but its output has been reduced. To compensate, the electrical side of the power unit has been dramatically supercharged. The motor generator unit kinetic, or MGUK, which recovers energy under braking, has had its power output tripled. It can now deploy a massive 350 kilowatts, or roughly 470 horsepower, up to speeds of 22.0 miles per hour. This creates a near 50-50 split between combustion and electrical power. This isn't just a minor tweak, it's a philosophical shift in how an F1 car generates speed. As team principal Andrea Stella noted, "Never before has there been such a huge and simultaneous change of chassis, power unit and tires. The implication, according to Sky Sports, is a potential shift in driving style towards more lift and coast to manage the powerful energy recovery systems, fundamentally altering on-track strategy." Drivers will need to adapt to a car that is as much an electric vehicle as it is a traditional race car, and the team that masters this hybrid balance first will have a significant advantage. This new power unit is housed within a chassis that is smaller and lighter in every dimension. The new rules mandate a car that is 100 mm narrower and has its wheelbase shortened by 200 mm, bringing it down to a compact 3.4 meters. The overall width is reduced to 1.9 meters, and the weight is targeted to be 30 kilograms lighter, bringing the minimum down to 768 kilograms. These changes, combined with fixed engine and gearbox lengths, severely constrain design freedom, giving engineers a much smaller sandbox to play in. A space estimated to be between just 150 and 300 millimeters. It's within this tight envelope that McLaren's aerodynamicists have had to find their advantage, and the renders suggest they have been aggressive. The tyres too have been shrunk. Pirelli has reduced the front tread by 25 millimeters and the rear by 30 millimeters, while the overall diameter has been reduced by 15 millimeters at the front and 30 mm at the rear. These smaller contact patches mean less mechanical grip, placing even more emphasis on aerodynamic performance to keep the car glued to the track. The most significant aerodynamic change for 2026 is the death of the ground effect floor as we know it. The large Venturi tunnels that have defined this generation of cars are gone, replaced by flatter floors and larger, more powerful diffusers. This change alone is estimated to cause an initial downforce loss of between 15 and 30%. The entire goal of the 2026 aero regulations is to claw that performance back in a new way. Additionally, the beam wing has been removed entirely, further reducing rear downforce. To compensate, the regulations now allow for adjustable front and rear wings, which can be configured in high downforce or low drag settings depending on the circuit. This adds a new strategic layer to car setup, and teams will have to master the art of switching between configurations to optimize performance at each track. The MCL40 renders give us our first look at McLaren's interpretation. Let's Start with the front wing. As noted by technical expert Gary Anderson, the end plate design is more three-dimensional, losing the upper fins of its predecessor, but retaining a huge footplate section at the bottom. The goal here is to control the outwash, directing the turbulent air generated by the front wheels away from the car's body and cleaning up the airflow to the all-important floor. This is paired with a distinctive drooped nose tip, which sits low and forward, a philosophy aimed at accelerating airflow underneath the chassis towards the new, larger diffuser. This nose design is a departure from the more horizontal profiles we saw in 2025, and it suggests McLaren believes that maximizing underfloor flow is the key to unlocking performance. Perhaps the most telling design choice is the suspension. McLaren has reverted to a pushrod layout on both the front and rear. On the front, this is a significant departure. A pushrod system, where a rod pushes on a rocker to operate the inboard suspension components, can offer better aerodynamic packaging than the pull rod alternative. According to Anderson's analysis, the upper wishbone is mounted with a notable anti-dive geometry, a design intended to control how much the front of the car pitches forward under braking. This keeps the aerodynamic platform stable, which is critical in this new era. At the rear, the pushrod layout is combined with a high-mounted wishbone to create anti-lift characteristics, doing the same job for the car under acceleration. This focus on mechanical stability suggests McLaren believes that a predictable, consistent platform will be the key to unlocking performance from the new aerodynam. IC rules. It's a complex mechanical solution to an aerodynamic problem, and it's a philosophy that stands in stark contrast to some of their rivals. The risk here is that Mercedes attempted a similar pushrod front suspension in recent years and ended up having to remove it because it made the car harder to drive. If McLaren has managed to make this concept work, it could be a significant advantage. If not, they could face a costly mid-season redesign. What makes McLaren's approach so fascinating is how it diverges from the expected. While we await official renders from teams like Ferrari and Mercedes, the paddock expectation is that many will pursue more aggressive aerodynamic packaging, perhaps sacrificing mechanical simplicity for sleeker side pods or more complex floor designs. McLaren, by contrast, appears to be prioritizing a stable, well-understood mechanical platform. Their side pods, while ramped, appear clean and less radical than some might have anticipated. This suggests a conservative approach to cooling, which could grant them a reliability advantage in hotter races, a crucial factor given the increased electrical demands of the new power units. This is a classic engineering trade-off, mechanical predictability versus ultimate aerodynamic performance. Is it better to have a car that is 99% optimized, but that the drivers can push to 100% of its limit, or a car that is theoretically 101% optimized, but is too unpredictable to exploit consistently? McLaren, with their pushrod suspension and focus on anti-dive and anti-lift, seems to be betting on the former. Whispers, this is the gamble. They are betting that in a year with so many unknowns, a predictable car is a winning car. It's a philosophy that echoes the approach that brought them success in 2025, where consistency and reliability were just as important as outright speed. The competitive context makes this design philosophy even more intriguing. McLaren's main rivals, Ferrari and Mercedes, are expected to take different approaches. Ferrari, as a works team with full control over its power unit, has the luxury of designing the chassis and engine in perfect harmony, potentially allowing for tighter packaging and more aggressive aerodynamic solutions. Mercedes, meanwhile, has a proven track record of innovation, and their engine is widely regarded as one of the most powerful on the grid. If Mercedes can maintain an engine advantage into 2026, the regulations make it extremely difficult for rivals to catch up. The fixed engine and gearbox lengths mean that once a power unit architecture is locked in, there is little room for mid-season changes. As McLaren's technical director Mark Temple noted, aerodynamics now prioritize corner downforce versus straight drag for the first wave efficiency. This suggests McLaren is focusing on building a car that is dominant in the turns, even if it carries a slight penalty on the straights, a philosophy that relies on the driver being able to carry more speed through the apexes. This is a direct contrast to a team like Mercedes, which may prioritize straight-line speed if they have a power unit advantage. The question is whether McLaren's corner speed will be enough to overcome any potential deficit on the straights. The team itself is projecting a mood of ambitious confidence. Team principal Andrea Stella stated, "We've been ambitious with the 2026 car. Anything we want to achieve, we will have to deserve it." This isn't the language of a team hoping to get lucky. It's the language of a team that believes its engineering choices will be the deciding factor. Chief designer Rob Marshall, a key architect of Red Bull's previous successes, reinforced this, telling McLaren's official website that the regulation change is so profound that every single part of the car is impacted, literally every last nut and bolt. This speaks to a ground-up redesign, not an evolution. It's a statement that they have not rested on the laurels of their 2025 championship, but have instead attacked the new rules with a clean sheet of paper. Technical director Mark Temple added another layer of insight, noting that the new aerodynamics prioritize corner downforce over straight-line drag, EF. Championships. This is a crucial detail. It suggests McLaren is focusing on building a car that is dominant in the turns, even if it carries a slight penalty on the straights. A philosophy that relies on the driver being able to carry more speed through the apexes. The renders also show prominent MasterCard branding, a sign of the team's strong commercial position as they enter this new era. Financial stability will be crucial under the budget cap, as any development missteps will be costly. However, our resident F1 technical expert Gary Anderson offers a dose of balanced skepticism. In his analysis for TheRace.com, he praised the design as clean, but noted that the renders may not tell the whole story, and that the real car could evolve before it even hits the track in Bahrain. He also pointed out a potential risk associated with the significant drop in downforce, the front brakes. With less aerodynamic load pushing the car onto the track, there's a greater risk of front brake locking, an issue that could make the car difficult to manage on corner entry. This highlights the steep learning curve ahead. The drivers will have to adapt to a car with fundamentally different characteristics, less downforce, a different power delivery, and potentially a trickier braking phase. It's a challenge that will separate the great at drivers from the good. The fact that McLaren is skipping the first day of the Barcelona shakedown suggests they are taking a cautious approach, ensuring the car is fully prepared before it hits the track. This is a sensible strategy given the complexity of the new regulations. The strategic implications of McLaren's design philosophy are immense. By focusing on a stable mechanical platform, they may be playing the long game. If the MCL40 proves to be a consistent, predictable car straight out of the box, it will give them a huge advantage in the early part of the season. While other teams are struggling to understand complex and peaky aerodynamic concepts, McLaren could be racking up points. In an era of budget caps and restricted testing, a fundamentally flawed concept can derail an entire season. A mid-season pivot to copy a rival's design is not just costly, it's practically impossible without compromising the following year's development. McLaren has essentially locked themselves into this development path. If their bet on mechanical stability pays off, they will force rivals into an incredibly difficult position. The first 3 races of the season will be a critical validation period. If the car performs as expected, McLaren will have established a strong foundation for the championship. If not, they will face an uphill battle to recover. We are not just watching a new car being unveiled, we are watching a high-stakes strategic gamble that could define the next 2 years of the championship. The timeline ahead is tight. The Barcelona shakedown is happening this week, followed by the full pre-season test in Bahrain, where the team will reveal its full race livery. The season opener in Australia will be the first true test of whether McLaren's philosophy has paid off. So, to answer our central question, is McLaren's new car a silver bullet? The initial analysis suggests it's a potent weapon, but one that is built on a philosophy of stability rather than outright high-risk innovation. It's a bold statement of intent from the reigning champions, a sign that they believe a predictable and well-balanced car is the surest path to defending their crown in this new, uncertain era. Its success is far from guaranteed, but the thinking behind it is sound. This technical battle is just beginning, and it will evolve with every race weekend. What's your verdict on this design? A stroke of genius or a conservative bet? Let me know your analysis in the comments below. To get the deepest, most informed analysis on how this story unfolds throughout the 2026 season, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Our goal is to bring 50,000 of us together for the most intelligent F1 conversation on the platform.